You keep your UK bank accounts open if you move overseas. Obviously, this is a very personal choice, but in general, I would say it makes sense to keep one or two bank accounts open if you can, but I wouldn't use those accounts extensively for the long term, at least overseas. And the reason is pretty simple. Many countries, including Australia and Canada, whilst they don't have a citizenship by taxation regime, what they do say is you've got to cut ties in many cases to the home country. So if you keep your gym membership open, for example, you keep many bank accounts open, and you keep many financial ties to the country, you could be considered a tax resident in certain cases. Now, it does get very confusing in those countries, like what state you're living in and so on and so forth. But when it comes to the UK, there's also a UK's ties test, which you can find on the HMRC website. Now, right now, having bank accounts in the UK is not one of those ties, it seems. But obviously over time, because the UK government needs money because of the financial situation, the aging population, I expect the ties test will become much more strict. So they might actually look at things like, okay, do you have bank accounts open? How often are you using those bank accounts? How often are you paying people in the UK from a UK bank account? So for me personally, I think for most British expats, if you're living overseas for the long term, it makes sense to have offshore investments and offshore bank accounts. And by offshore, I merely mean outside of the UK.